since June rolled around, we were a little low on inventory in May, and then June rolled around and everybody decided it'd be a great time to put their house on the market.
All right, Pat, welcome back. Thanks for coming to our mastermind meeting. We're going to talk a little bit today just about the stats, what we're seeing, what's being reported, and then we're going to finish up with how our certified home program actually nets more money by pricing it the best way, right? So we're going to start a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about what stats you pulled up this morning.
Yeah, so I was just looking at time on the market for the last couple of weeks here and looking at Rockland, Roseville, and Lincoln areas. So it looks like overall the days on the market have been increasing over the last couple of weeks. For instance, Rockland, we're looking at any place between 18 to 46 days, Roseville 26 to 60, and then in Lincoln 50 to 77 days on average. So looking at more time on the market than we have been. That's more a normal pre-COVID time frame, though, I feel like, where
Yeah.
you're looking about a month before you're going to get some offers rolling in. And this is just averages in the industry. And then slight increase over the last month in price, uh, but it's very minimal. I mean, we're looking at 0.04%. So prices are kind of holding steady, but I feel like since June rolled around, we were a little low on inventory in May, and then June rolled around and everybody decided it'd be a great time to put their house on the market.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with you. Actually, I had a talk with the seller yesterday specifically about this, and I pulled, I think you can see my screen now, the market trends from Trend Vision off of our MLS data. And if you look here, you can definitely see an increase, the homes coming on the market. And what
Mhm.
we're looking at is almost an 18-month timeline here. So here's May 2024, here's May 2023. So you definitely see a sharp, kind of climb of homes. We're looking, 3,500 of homes last year. Now we're at 5,500. This
Mhm.
is kind of the tri-county areas. So, that sounds like a lot of homes, but we're talking about the tri-counties, and we could bring it back down just to Placer County, but it is kind of being felt throughout the area. We're still seeing the dark green, right, is homes being sold. And it is somewhat similar to 2023. The
Mhm.
other thing to note is the pending homes. Of course, now there are more homes available, so we are going to see our pending home line increase. So kind of what you saw, right? Steady prices, steady in terms of not a lot of decrease in prices or value, but we are going to see longer times on the market. Just to kind of put people an idea, is anything really less than a couple of months of inventory, and I'll change over to that, is still considered a seller slash kind of a neutral market. If you get real low down to these 1 month of inventory marks, like we were in May, that is a strong seller's market. So we are approaching more of a neutral market. Uh,
Mhm.
as a buyer market, comes around, that really you need about 3 to 4 or 6 months worth of inventory. We're not there yet. So all things being reported, the market's still strong. I mean, that's what we're
Yeah.
seeing. Cool part, big benefit here, big takeaway is buyers are going to have a little more opportunity to kind of pick and choose, and
Mhm.
sellers are going to have to be a little more patient and wait more than the first weekend to get a deal.
Right. No, and I would put a asterisk on that. I think this means for sellers that we need to be more diligent about what we do when we list the house and how we list it.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers from last year, when you look at those trends, the amount of houses listed to houses sold is really close. And what that means is not a lot of inventory, a lot of demand. So
Yep.
now, if you look at the gap between for sale and sold,
Yeah, right here
and even
now.
for sale and pending, I mean, you can almost stack that sold on top of the
Yeah, take this and double it up.
itself and double it, and you're right there. And so what that means is the days of let's just throw the house on the market and see what happens. It'll sell, no
It'll
problem.
sell whatever number, just throw it up there. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure that we're educating our clients that that's no longer the case,
Mhm.
and then doing our part to make sure that we do everything we can to put the house in a good position to create demand to get the house sold.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna finish up this one last thing. So this is the areas that we really watch closely. It's just the Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, Loomis, Penryn, kind of that lower South Placer areas. And for the last 3 days, we had 103 new listings come on the market. 23 homes were under contract and came back on the market. A very slim amount of 5 homes had some price increases, but then look at that one. I mean, 80 homes price reduced. So you kind of add this up. We have 200 homes
Mm-hmm.
that needed to get sold. I mean, so that's telltale of what we're talking about. It's going to give buyers opportunity to pick and choose a little bit better, and now sellers are really going to have to pay attention to what's going on with that market and market it in a way that provides them the best value. So
Right.
one thing we did want to talk about is how we do that, right? And then one of it is our certified home program.
Mm-hmm.
What's really fun about the certified home program is how we market the thing. Well, probably our favorite thing is how we save thousands of dollars off the negotiation of repairs, and how we price it in a way that we usually get 4% higher than our list price. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
try
And I
to,
mean, that's on average, right? So
yeah,
we're looking at netting our clients any place between 3 and almost 10% over asking.
yeah. Oftentimes when we talk to people, what's kind of the knee-jerk reaction when we tell them we want to price it appropriately?
Well, I want to get the most money.
Well, yeah, and then the other
I don't
thing,
want to I don't want to lower that. I want to
I don't want to lose money.
I don't
I
want to
don't
lose
want to price
anything.
it too low.
Yeah.
Uh, And so here's what we're kind of looking at. If we're looking at a house, and let's say on an average that house falls between the bracket of 800 to $900,000. 900 being the high side, 800 being the low side. If we were to take this one and say, all right, let's just split the difference. We got an average house, so we're going to call that 850 based off of our marketing and typically what we see on increase of price. We typically sell at 104% above our asking price. So here's our list price, and then this is our potential sales price with our marketing strategies. So you can see kind of increases.
Mm-hmm.
The other, or kind of the traditional older style thought process of listing and marketing would be, okay, let's list it at $900,000. We'll wait even longer until we get an offer, and the general kind of list to sell price ratio right now is about 97%. So if you,
Well, and one thing to note, Nick, is that 97%, that's the average last month.
yeah, so that's going to change
That's
next month, right? That could
right.
get
And
worse.
we're seeing how many price reductions now and how many new homes on the market. So that number's going to
Go down.
go down.
So anyway, so you can see, by pricing a little bit more aggressive, one, you're attracting more buyers. So that's going to give you more opportunity to pick your best buyer, potentially, and what we've seen through our experience, net you a higher selling price. And then we're going to go, kind of scroll down here. Most of these are just kind of your estimated costs throughout the sale of a property. So these are some of them are based on purchase price, some of them are not. So we're going to kind of look at
Mm-hmm.
how we do it, right? Our listing fee is 4% to list the property. Typically, on the traditional style, you might get an agent that will say that I'll list that for 5%, and then they'll pay a portion of that to the buyer's agent. We don't do that.
Right.
We have the buyer's agent negotiate their own fee. And so we're seeing that come in anywhere between 2 and 2.5%.
Or
So,
zero, like my last one.
or zero like the last one. That one is actually really cool because if you change
Yeah.
that, I mean, it dramatically changes what we net our seller. But
Yeah.
um, I'm gonna keep it at 2.5 just
Yeah.
because that's more
Yeah. Put
traditional.
it at the top.
Put it at the top. We want to show people that hey, even paying the other buyer broker fee and how that will still benefit you. So
Right.
right now, right, the biggest difference here is we're already selling at a higher price than the average agent
Right.
because we're attracting more people with a more attractive price. And we're attracting more people, which then gets competition for them to drive the price up.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is the kicker. This is a good one here is concessions for repairs. What typically happens in this standard transaction, right? You get buyer comes in, makes an offer, reports aren't done, buyer gets their inspector, inspector comes in, rips apart the house, puts a laundry list of stuff to do and says you got 15, $20,000 worth of work. And when you get those, what happened? Like what just happened on your last one, Pat? How much was that request for repairs?
That was $12,000.
$12,000.
Right.
Uh, on the back end, right? In the middle of the
Mm-hmm.
transaction where you're kind of halfway through, you're kind of like, oh, I'm almost done. And you almost feel backed into a corner as a seller that you've got to do something.
Right. Well, and that was the buyer being generous, right? That
Yeah.
wasn't asking for all the repairs. If we would have added up all the repairs, we would have been $20,000, $30,000.
Yeah. So with our certified home program, we do these inspections up front, which allows us to one, either A, repair some of that stuff prior to going on the market, or even as we're on the market at a much lower cost. Or two, at least we know the skeletons in our closet and we don't have to be worried about what the buyer's going to ask anymore because we give that to them up front.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Nancy's house is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
So that house, it needed some work, and we all knew it. You could see it when you walked in, but she decided that the certified pre-owned home program was the best option for her, and we were able to get her into contract in less than a week, over asking, and there were zero repairs requested on that house.
Yeah, because the buyer already knew the repairs, right? They didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to go get their own inspection. We gave it to them up front. Now, if we'd done it the other way, we would have had the same scenario, right? We would have had a request for repairs, right? Would have
Of
request
course.
for
Yeah.
repairs would have been whatever it may have been, 10,000. It's very unlikely that if you've got a seller and a buyer at the middle of the negotiation and a request for repairs comes in, that stays at zero, right? How many times have you been able to keep it at zero in the middle of a transaction?
Without doing a certified pre-owned home, the number is zero.
Yeah. We've always had to give up something, even one that my seller thought, the last one, thought the house was perfect. It was very well maintained. He opted not to do the seller certified home program. And it cost him $4,000 in cash and about $2,000 of personal furniture. So, $6,000, right? So
Yep.
if we said, okay, that's $6,000 worth of value, you're going to end up giving up something on the seller side. And you also have that I'm still waiting to get through the inspections to make sure everything's okay. So you got, 14 days of a little bit more anxiety, concern, wondering, will the house be okay through the inspections? We eliminate all that by
Mm-hmm.
doing it up front, eliminate the cost of repairs because the buyers know. And ultimately, what it does is it nets our seller more money.
Well, and I would also consider non-monetary. Well, they're kind of monetary, but the difference between days on market between using the certified pre-owned home program and a traditional sale. We're seeing the averages of the traditional sale right now be any place between, you know, 20 to 60 days.
Yeah.
And so if you list at the top, you're going to be closer to that 60-day mark.
Yep.
Well, how many home payments do you have to make
Yeah.
additional? How much, time do you have to take getting your house ready to show? having it in show condition for the next 2 months. And then what's our average time on the market with a certified pre-owned home? 6.5 days.
6.5 days. Much
So,
faster. And our close rate is faster, right? You can close it
mhm,
faster because now we don't have to wait for the inspections to be done. Now,
right.
so anyway, we did this the other day and I thought it was important to kind of share. Look, if you're a numbers person, like to look through the numbers and kind of see, well, how is that really going to benefit me at the end of the day? Here it is, right? It's a difference. It's a significant difference. But that's
Hmm.
$4,000 here, faster turnaround. And like you said, now if you add it in, 900,000, maybe you have a 3,000, $3,500 a month payment. Probably of that is at least approximately $3,000 of interest. That's $6,000 more of interest that you paid. So
2 months
now,
more of taxes.
yeah, so you've got more things paid. Your net,
Yep.
your bottom line is dropping the longer it takes to sell. And using our certified hope program, our marketing strategies, this is how we generate more money for our clients. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, I think that's great. We've been looking at this for the last, couple of years now, and working on how can we do it better for our clients? How can we net our clients more money and make the process better for them? One thing that I would add is that what I love about the new way that we do it with our certified pre-owned over the traditional way is when it comes to commission, the traditional way that commission is paid is you're going to pay 5 or 6%. And
Yep.
then it doesn't matter who the buyer is, what happens with that. We have no control over that. With the certified pre-owned program, if an offer comes in and it's not a great offer,
The seller's in
well,
control.
the seller's in control of what commission is paid.
Yeah.
And so if they come in really low, well, there's not a lot of incentive to pay an agent for that. And
Yeah.
so now we've just swung the net in our favor based off of the strength of the offer. And
Yeah.
so that puts the ball back into the seller's court and doesn't force them to pay for a service that is subpar.
Well, I think this is going to be one we're going to have a lot more questions, and let's do this one next week, the following week, our next mastermind. How and why having it done this way is better for the sellers. And let's talk about why that's better for the buyers, because there is benefits that way as well.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, until next time, we'll talk to you then, Pat.
Thanks.